Hello friends, Coastie Chris here. Welcome to my series on personal protective equipment for recreational boating. So to begin, I just want to say that this isn't an official Coast Guard video. It's just me giving my opinion using the experience that I've got through serving in the Coast Guard. And we're going to be going through sets of equipment and other experiences that might help you enjoy the outdoors a little more. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, now to start off the series, I'm going to start with the venerable Type 3 PFD, not to be confused with PDF, which is something that you use with Adobe Acrobat on your computer, but a PFD stands for Personal Flotation Device, and the reason we're starting with the Type 3 rather than Type 1 and Type 2 is that the Type 3 is probably going to be the only one that you as a recreational boater or a kayaker or a fisherman are ever going to need. And it's what most people will interact with. If you do end up using a Type 1 or Type 2, you're probably going to know it because it's going to be incredibly uncomfortable and you'll regret having ever rented a boat or kayak from the place that you just rented from. So before we put on the example that I have for you of a Type 3, grab your PFD, whichever one that you're considering using or purchasing, and take a look at the inside. Sorry about that, I'm videotaping in my apartment complex's common area, and so a whole bunch of people just came through. So where we picked up where we left off, go ahead and grab your personal flotation device and take a look at the inside. Now throughout this series, I'm gonna be using examples of some of the equipment that has been issued to me in the Coast Guard. They're just props to use as an example. I'm gonna have links in the description below to Coastie Chris approved items that are quality where you can get so that you enjoy using that equipment. So on the inside of any PFD should be a Coast Guard mandated set of information here. And I think it's a little bright for you to see. There we go, that might be a little better. But what you're looking for is something that has this intact. You're gonna wanna inspect the PFD that you get. The minimum that you want to have intact is this outer layer, this little bit of plastic. You don't want any tears in it because that's where water is going to get in and it's going to start damaging the foam inside your PFD. I do know that there's other types of PFDs that don't have that foam layer. We're going to be getting into those in a later video, so stay tuned for that. But that's the very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to inspect it visually to make sure that there's no tears. And if you get some of these Coastie Chris approved items from either Amazon or West Marine, also makes good products, or as you can see here, you can go directly to Mustang Survival. It's a Canadian company that is just fantastic. And what you'll want to do is check for the integrity of the PFD as well as the integrity of this panel here. You don't want any tears or anything in this because it's a legal document that is certifying this PFD. A couple things that you're going to want to take a look at in this legal document right on your PFD is you're going to want to make sure that it has a U.S. Coast Guard approval number. You're going to want to make sure that it's right for your intended use. So this one here is an older version of a Type 3 PFD that was issued to me when I was training. As a trainee, of course, we got the older equipment. And it says that it's not intended for impact. What that is important is with personal watercraft, especially. You're gonna wanna make sure that if you're on a personal watercraft, PWC, and with those little jet skis, you're gonna wanna get one that is impact resistant. The next thing you're gonna wanna make sure is that it's an adult version. So here it has adult medium, and it tells you what an adult is. As far as this PFD is concerned, an adult is someone or something that weighs more than 90 pounds or 41 kilograms. So it also gives you the chest size. The chest size, the reason why the weight and chest size are important is because, again, we want to make sure that we're getting something that fits us, that feels good when we wear it. Let me put this on real quick and I can show you that I am a pretty small guy, but for this one, I put it on, and a medium feels pretty good. Now keep in mind, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. If we're out on patrol, I may be wearing a t-shirt if it's that time of year where it's hot enough out, or I may be wearing my blouse underneath this, our ODU overcoat. And so I wanted a medium so that I could better adjust to whichever situation I was going into. So another item with Type 3 PFDs is that they come in all shapes and sizes. They're normally going to give you about 13 pounds or 70 newtons of buoyancy. And you're going to think to yourself, well, I weigh a heck of a lot more than 16 pounds. And indeed, you would have to weigh at least 90 pounds to effectively wear this PFD that I am now. But you'll be surprised. 16 pounds is a lot, and it will help keep you afloat, but not for extended periods of time. Type 3 PFDs are really going to be useful for those who are expected to be rescued in a reasonable time frame. With Type 3 PFDs, they come in, again, all shapes and sizes. This one here, the reason why I call it an older version is it's a little clunky. It's a little cumbersome. It has pockets that can bulge out, and it's just, you don't feel very agile in this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recommend this kind for folks who don't really need to be that agile. If you're sitting down in the boat, or if you want a more inexpensive entry level, still quality, it's still a Mustang, but entry level Type 3 PFD that feels good, this is going to be a great option for you, something with this kind of design. And the padding here, the foam inserts go all the way up to the shoulders, so this is made for comfort, this right here. It's effective, it's comfortable, but it's not really utilitarian. So if you need to be, using your arms and movement, it's not restrictive, but it's clunky. So I'm going to show you another example of a later version once I did get certified as a crew that I was issued that's a little bit more easy to use and easy to work in. So here you can tell I'm wearing a different version, still made by Mustang, again a great company, and you can see it's a little sleeker. I don't have any of that foam inserts going up on my shoulders, it's just a mesh. And what's important about this style is that you really want to get it fitted to you. This now I went down to a small because all the padding and all the foam is right here around your chest and around the back. So here you can see it's around the back. And there's nothing up on the shoulders. So when I go in the water with this, either on purpose or not, it's going to have a tendency to rise up on my chest. And this style is great for kayakers especially, fishermen, people who are going to be using their arms, lifting them above their shoulders, perhaps to cast or to maneuver their oars, and it's extremely comfortable. It's less bulky, and it's probably one of the more common versions of a Type 3 PFD. Again, about 16 pounds of buoyancy, 70 newtons is a good rule of thumb for Type 3s. So it's going to help me in the water. I'm definitely going to feel it. It's not going to be as relaxing as, say, the previous version if I was in the water because the buoyancy is less dispersed. Again, with nothing on my shoulders, it's going to have a tendency to rise up on my chest. So again, if you go with this version, go with a little tighter than you might think. It'll still be comfortable. This is especially good in hotter weather and hotter climates. Down in Florida, in the Carolinas, along the Gulf, I would recommend this a little bit more, this style of Type 3, because it's going to be breathable. This mesh is incredibly breathable, and you're going to use it because it's going to be more comfortable. So to wrap up Type 3s here, before I go into inflatable versions of Type 3, a couple things that I do want to reiterate is that Type 3s are, again, the most common that you're going to find, and they're going to give you about 16 pounds or 70 newtons of buoyancy as a rule of thumb. And what you're looking for is comfort and function. And The function of these, one of the great benefits of a Type 3 with a foam insert like this is that they can be rated for impact. And especially if you're going to be going fast on your boat, if you're going to be skiing behind the boat, or if you're going to be on a personal watercraft on a jet ski, that's something you're going to want to consider. They are going to be a little bit more pricey, but it's definitely going to be worth it. These inserts, this one here is, it's not officially rated for impact. However, it does say on that insert from the Coast Guard that it does help up to 35 miles an hour. The older version, again, it's a little bit more robust. That says 50 miles an hour. And so you're not going to get that with the inflatable version of a Type 3, which I'll be going into in another video here in this series. But one more item about comfort and not so much function is that here on this kind of, with the mesh shoulders and the mesh sides, it's adjustable right here with these straps. And I've adjusted it. It's even a small, when I put it on, I was like, I'm a pretty small guy. I adjusted it, tightened it down even more. Now when I go in the water, it hardly moves at all, and it's just much more comfortable. When you're out on the water, you want something that you're not even going to notice you're wearing, and if you do notice it, you're going to want to say, hey, this is comfortable. I'm enjoying this experience. So I hope you found this relevant to you, and I hope you guys have a great day, and stay safe out there and enjoy it. Semper Paratus. Coastie Chris out. Thanks.